Great to see you here again. My name is Luc de Custer, founder of the Custer Academy, and in this video I will talk about Jeff Sutherland, the development of Scrum and the driving principles. But before we continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. So let's have a look at the background of Scrum. Jeff Sutherland developed Scrum in 1993, and he wrote a book about it, Scrum, which is very interesting and which I used to create some of those videos. Jeff Sutherland has a military experience. He found out that a lot of projects were not working the way they should and was coaching and helping companies, organizations to create software in a better way. Now, once it started, it was one of the first methodologies in Agile that became popular, and that led to very interesting results. Basically, the Toyota production system revolutionized car production and operations management. So a lot of principles come from there. And also, Jeff Sutherland's military experience provided the foundation for flexible thinking. Things have to be adjusted. You cannot just keep on doing the plan when the environment changes. When we look at Scrum, they started by the application of lean principles in project management. And one of the main things here was to avoid work that is not necessary. Basically, the most important thing that Jeff Sutherland took away was the creation of those wonderful Gantt charts that in many projects provided some sense of stability to the management, but basically in most cases the Gantt charts only gave some idea that was in most projects not even realistic. And when you look at the results of all those projects, even a perfect Gantt chart led to catastrophic endings of projects. When we look at Agile and the Toyota production system, they use in fact what we call piecewise production, Kanban, and continuous flow. So basically, these are principles that come back here when he was developing his methodology, the Scrum methodology. One of the elements that are at the basis of Scrum is the use of common sense. Now, many people say common sense is not so common, and we've seen that in many applications. People try to make things more complex, and it doesn't help the project. Common sense makes the things easier. The English say keep it simple, and that's what Scrum is doing. They make it simple because they're working in those sprints to create a product that is working. That's not the end product, but it's already working, and it provides a good overview of what can be done and provides feedback on how to improve it. Typically, the applications were in IT and high-tech, but they can also be applied in other fields, marketing, research and development, all different possible applications of Scrum. Now, when we look at lean operations, we have a principle of pull versus push. When you look at the classical production, people were doing a push production. Every process is performing at the maximal or optimal output or speed, creating large amounts of work in progress, a lot of quality issues, rework, and a very inflexible production. What is happening there? They make a plan and then they work the plan. And it led to a lot of issues in production. When you look at the Kaizen method introduced by Toyota, they work with a pull production where the next process requests work from the previous using the Kanban system. Kanban are those boxes that move between the different parts in the process. Moved from large batches, they meant to ideally piecewise production and a continuous flow. They reduce quality issues and increase flexibility to adjust to demand, and they also have very large savings compared to the classical production. We want to evaluate quality and performance. Performance of processes increases when you are using the Kaizen methodology, the demand is met, and the work in progress is reduced to a minimum. We don't have all these items waiting there to be assembled. So when you would be using a classical approach to project management, you create all these different items. They're not really finished. We call them work in progress. And then we have to put them together. That's in fact a very important issue that we have reduced with Scrum. That amount of work in progress is reduced, and we only have items that can be integrated in something that is working. And we immediately see the quality of it. Flexibility is very important, and we also look at optimizing the bottlenecks and set up methods in operations. They call it SMED, single minute exchange of die. These are methods that you can adjust your processes very quickly, and it's a technique developed by Toyota, reducing again the time that bottlenecks are out of production, and a bottleneck has a very important effect on the productivity of your supply chain for your production chain. Quality is identified very quickly. Now, when we are finishing the items and what we see, we have something that's working, we find issues very quickly. And in Toyota, they use the flow principle. So basically, everything goes through to the next steps, and we can identify issues very quickly. The processes are in place to verify correct completion of the work, and they are updated constantly. In Toyota, you have processes to verify that all the things that you should have done have been done. There is even a story in Toyota where a manager was working in one of the process steps, I think it was with the brakes, and 4 or 5 steps later, a problem was detected. Now, the thing was not that the manager was to blame, but the people were looking at the other idea. How was it possible that we did not detect that error at the end of the step, the place where it was made? So these are all elements that are in fact very important for the development of Scrum, and of course also for other agile methodologies. We look at the principles that are introduced here already, principles that were introduced in Scrum and that were later integrated in the Agile Manifesto. We look at individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working product over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiations, responding to changes over following the plan, and continuous and early delivery of partial solutions over delivery of the completed solutions or completed solution. So basically, this was it for this video. We looked at Scrum, the first agile methodology that was developed in 1993. That's the end of this video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next videos. Thank you and bye-bye.